store.
Tell about the first calf you sold to go to school.
Back in the older days when I was a young boy, I'm talking about 9 to 10 years old, we lived, well, right where we are now, there was a barn here. And our little house was right between here and the road up there. And we always had cows, not a herd of cows, but we'd have 10 or 12 cows. My mother we milked the cows to have the milk to drink. And each year they'd usually have a calf in the spring, and then we could milk the cow for several months while she was nursing the calf and raising the calf. We'd milk and take part of the milk to have to drink. And in those days, we didn't have a refrigerator or no ice. So there was a cistern by our house up there. And it was pretty deep in the ground. So my mother would put the milk in a tin bucket can like, and had a rope and lower it down in the cistern in the water to keep it cool. And boy, that was some good drinking, that milk coming out of that. And I don't believe any of you ever drank buttermilk, but she'd let the milk sour and churn it by hand with a hand churn to make butter. And then we drank that buttermilk. And boy, that was good. Get it out of that cool water out of the cistern with some cornbread, and that was really good. I used to have that for supper a lot. But we had cows all the time, and as I got older and bigger, usually they would tell me a certain calf was mine when the cows had the calves. And at the end of the year, they let me sell the calf. And I'd get the money for that I got for that calf, and that gave me some spending money. And in those days, you didn't go to the meat market and pick out what piece of meat you had wanted and so forth. But occasionally, some neighbors or somebody in the community would kill a calf or beef and cut it up and bring it around on a truck, selling it to people. And they'd stop the truck and you'd go pick out some, my mother would go and get some meat off the truck. And we'd have that to eat. And over the years, of course, I fooled with cows all my life. And after I married and came back after the war, my dad and I raised cows out here. And he rented the place across the road that your daddy bought. Nietzsche's grandmother owned the place, and we rented from her. She wouldn't sell it in those days, but we rented that place and ran cows across the road over there. And then when my daddy got sick and got down where he couldn't look after them, we loaded them all up and sold them. And then later on, I decided I'd buy a little place up north of Yazoo City, and Butch was living in New Orleans then, so he and I went together and bought this place up there and started buying some cows, putting them on it, raising them. And I gave him an album today with some pictures of the cows up there. He and I did a lot of fencing up there. We bought a little chainsaw, and we'd go, a lot of the place was in woods, and we'd go through the woods and cut posts and put them in the ground and fix the fence and build a fence to raise the cows on. We bought that place in 1971 and kept it until 1983. we decided to sell it and sell some of the cows, and then moved a few of them back out here. And another time I'll tell you, the Lord took care of me and helped me. I often think about it. We had a bunch of them up there. It must have been 35 or 40 head of cattle up there. And I went up there one day and there wasn't any there. They was all out. And I had to go to work the next morning. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I got up about 4 o'clock and went up there. It's still dark, so I started getting light. But in those days, I carried some feed in a bucket and would call the cows and throw it out to them, and they'd eat them. I got up there about 4 o'clock and went near where I thought the cows might be, and I could call them, holler and call them then. And usually they would answer. They'd bellow and answer when I called them. So I started calling them, and I went across the place and across the ditch and on the road on the back side of the place. It was about a couple of miles around to where our place was. And the cow finally came to me over there early in the morning, and I got in the road with about 35 or 40 head of cows behind me, walking with this bucket of feed and them following me. And it's about time for the school bus when I got them all together. And I just knew some car or bus, school bus or something was going to come along and disperse them everywhere. So I walked in front of them for about 2 miles around the road, and all of them followed me. And got around to our place where the gate was open and went in, and every one of them went in there with me. So that's another time the Lord helped me out.